aka Padders. Thank you for joining me. Happy New Year. It is officially 2021. Took a little break. I needed it. But here we go. Episode 350. It is time to get hyped because your boy Peter A. DeLuca, aka the Eclectic One, aka the World Sketchbook Champ, aka yo boy. I am here. Hot chocolate, spicy taco. Let's do this. Let's just we're freeballing it. I do have some notes, but full update episode coming at you. Let's do this. Yeah, here we go. So, shout out to my family because they were strong. They were really strong this past Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's because this is our first major holiday run without my father, and it's tough, man. Like it's just one of those things where, like almost like on a neurological sense, like you are subconsciously linked and connected to people, and it's hard to know how strong of a bond that is until it's broken. Very similar to just some of Peter history here. So some of my breakups where I always seemed ready for the breakup because boys and girls, I'd live my life as a savage, but but it's like these are things where like a relationship when it dwindles, you mentally prepare yourself. But then it happens, and you realize how much of a link you really had with that person. And sometimes it's self-inducing. Sometimes it happens to you. And I've been on the side of that, like both sides of that. So it's tough, man. Like it's tough, kind of just dealing with the loss of a fun, positive parent that was very interested in you and like your day to day and did nothing but want to see you do well. Now this doesn't exactly mean it's peaches and cream. Even I do love peaches and cream, but you guys know my point. Okay, it's not perfect, nor should it be. It's impossible to be in a perfect scenario when it comes to our parents, but we can search, we can stretch, we can hope for nothing but the positive. And I would say later in life, my father and I learned to bond a different way because my father being a Vietnam War veteran, he child of the 60s, had issues like of his own, his outward pour to me was very different than compared to my sister. But as an adult, I knew when he was reaching out, and I knew I could read between the lines. I knew what he was saying. I knew how he was saying some particular things. But at the same time, it's like, my father and I, we disagreed on a lot. There was many life lessons along the way that I felt were neglected on my part. I felt that were missed. I felt that my sister and I could have been at a advantage if we knew some things, as time marched on, or what to avoid. This is one of the reasons why I am absolutely obsessed with biographies. I read so many biographies. I listen to a lot of biographies. A lot of this will be a part of my 2021 projection / profile, like all of it. Okay. So look forward to that. But but we kind of take, we take everything together. We have to take it all together. And in times like this, we do focus on the positive. The strength in us will focus on the positive. We need to be strong for others. Now, sometimes you have to, you have to go through your emotions. You have to grieve. You have to kind of go through some pain. I always felt like my family and I had, we were good. And I said this around the funeral of my father. I said, I tried to remind everyone that if this is our biggest tragedy as a family, doing all the things that we do. Okay, like we all live apart. We like we're all relatively 40 minutes to an hour and change. I think my sister's like 90 minutes. She's 2 hours from me, but we're like we're scattered in the wind, and but we're all like active. Even my father, even my father for being 70, I would say was active. He moved around a lot. Now, for us to have like a tragedy on this level, this late in life, this late in the game, it's something to like be positive about. It's something to get amped about because I have a lot of friends. Like I was at I went to one of my friends' Eagles tailgating events. Okay, backyard New Jersey stuff, and I'm not going to name names. Maybe in social media I'll make a clip of this and then tag him, and then we'll all know who he is. But for the sake of being sued, I kind of skirt around this stuff. So, I got the invite for the Eagles tailgate, and he was doing something in his backyard. He has a bar. He calls it the Eagles Nest, and it was really like literally right after the day my father died, and everything was just so like distracting, but warm, and friendly at the same time. And I was talking to one of his friends, somewhat my friend, acquaintance, mutual friend, and he was asking me if I was doing okay with my father. And at that time, that literally was not a question I was prepared to deal with. I really was hoping no one knew, no one would ask, no one would just do like any of it. Okay. And I just said, look, man, it sucks. Like just coming from me and the things I do around like fitness. My father probably could have taken care of himself a lot better. And, that somewhat helped me because, like just knowing he lived his life like his way pretty much. Outside of becoming crazy rich and flying Lear jets and blowing coke all freaking day, right? I mean, like the life that the ambition, like the things that he had access to, the circumstances, it was pretty good. A pig rolling in shit type idea was how I look at my father's life. And so we were talking. I said, look, man, I was like, but it really does suck. And it's shocking how quickly you miss someone. Before like anything settles in. And he goes, I didn't even know my father. Didn't even know him. And he right now has 2 children of his own. And he's like super dad. And we always think everyone around us is doing better, where we're all kind of like in the same boat, and we're all kind of just kind of trying to figure everything out at the same time, the same way, including our parents and us. So going to that Eagles tailgating really was soothing for me. I felt like I exercised a chunk of the demons. Now, that didn't mean I was 100% by the time my father's funeral rolled around the next week. And they showed up too, which really kind of really got to me, really blew my mind, added as a wonderful distraction. So through this course, but by the way, here, you guys hear this? I had notes to jump to that was all content related, but 350 I wanted to do as a brain dump. So here we go. So this other thing that I would say object I was able to pull out of the death of my father was this yearning to really reconnect with everyone kind of on my side that showed up or wanted to show up to my father's viewing, or that were really there to support me. And I never understood that. like I never understood how that's helpful. And the way that it's helpful is that it adds it's a distraction of that moment, because you're there, you're at a viewing, you're receiving people, like you're having some of these like very like quick, deep like conversations. There's people you haven't seen for a long time, and but sometimes when like kind of like like the boys like show up, it's a distraction from the emotional roller coaster you're on. Okay, and yeah, I just feel like, look, my father, didn't want anyone grieving, didn't want any of these other things, and like everyone says that, but and everyone knows that's not going to happen. But um, I felt like I could kind of say thank you and honor Tony Big T just by like I don't know, being a savage on my own and going forward and just saying F it. So the Eagles tailgating was all about that. Everything I planned or drafted, produced around the funeral, everything last year leading into the new year, and even right now, sitting down with you, is a part of that line. And like life happens, and you look at yourself and me, like I look at everything I'm doing, and it's just like, wow, like like I'm not married, don't have kids, but holy crap, there's so many stories. Like there's so many things that I'm happy, that I'm proud of, that I love discussing and rehashing. And a really good example of this was one of my high school friends came. And it took me a couple weeks to do it, but I finally like made my way to his house, and it was almost like 20 years. And like him and I, we just ended up like just like sitting down, like with his family, like in full like view and earshot. And I just kind of like it was somewhat of an affirmation for me, knowing I could just like spin yarns and talk about this and talk about that and bring this up and bring that up. And I would say like that experience was is absolutely new to me. And like and that's almost like the final gift. Cuz my father loved Christmas. That's one of my final gifts of father to son, which is the experience of him not being here is a gift. Because it forces you, it changes your mind, it molds your outlook. It forces you to immediately do things you were never prepared to do, or realize what you haven't been doing. And this is why it's important for people to love us. Like it really has nothing to do with anything but that. If you love people and people love you, you will affect them through death. And that's the only thing you can do in life. Now, along the way, you can, I don't know, do a little bit of what we're doing on this podcast. Trying to kind of inspire and mold minds and drive a direction just based on content, based on frequency, based on the love of mine. I love that my father and I both had, which was movies. And, like again, growing up, like you kind of want your parents to follow you, because immediately, like we all kind of get subject to our parents not liking the things that we like, and it's so frustrating. And holy crap, I dealt with that with Tony. They not so much with Leslie, my mother. She's really into like new things, but like kind of riding the wave. And like I don't know. I want it all. I want to watch it all. I want to see it all. I want to talk about it all. And here we go. Let's discuss AKAPAD's Audio Audacity, what we are doing going into this year. So the next episode, I'll get right to it. Episode 351 is the Wonder Woman 1984. which for a little bit of time should round out the DCEU. So this is immediately linked to akapad.com. That's my website, where I wanted to do more of a substantial run going into the holiday season with this, but I got the site to a level that I've been clawing at for like a decade, for like 10 effing years. Okay. Too long. But the site's searchable. I have just about all my content there that's available. There's so much more to add, but if you were to search DCEU, you would get all the DCEU movies that we discuss here on the podcast. Now, with some of the other podcast networks, mostly SoundCloud, on my list, I have to do more playlists, to create more playlists for all of you. So everyone that wants to hear like the through line of the DC Extended Universe, Marvel Cinematic Universe, ideas, subjects, David Cronenberg. Okay, if you want to just hear my runs on some of these talents and properties, part of 2021 will be to make that available, to aggregate it, and to be able to punch it home. Now, keep in mind, everything on akapad.com is a media player, so I'm not hosting everything natively. That is almost like phase 3 type material, because that's going to be a storage issue. But we're doing things, we're marching along. So that being said, the big arc is me canceling Netflix just because I had to subscribe to HBO Max for Wonder Woman 1984. Yeah, and there's other things on HBO Max that I really have to get to. More of the DC animated films are there. I think as of right now, they have all the Hobbit movies and all the Lord of the Ring movies. That really should be a 6-episode series for me, including maybe 8, including the animated ones, the Bakshi and the Raskin and Bass animated features. Maybe the short film, The Search for Gollum. And all this is gearing up towards the Amazon Prime LOTR series. So having that already in the canon, very helpful. But big idea for AKA Dad's Audio the big idea for AKAPAD's Audio Audacity podcast is canceling Netflix, but before I cancel Netflix, to go on a complete run to watch as much Netflix as I can, to give myself 1 month to record and release as much as I can. Now, that doesn't mean I have to release everything to when I cancel. It just means I need to record, or I can record over the cancellation. So, yeah, I mean, starting with 6 Underground. Holy crap. So 351 is Wonder Woman 1984. 352 will be 6 Underground, the Netflix Michael Bay, Ryan Reynolds original. Can't wait to do that. So we're going to do an action movie block when it comes to Netflix, and we're going to toggle. We're going to go action, sci-fi, comedy, back to action, horror. You guys get it. I'm going to be rediscussing other Netflix movies that I'm rewatching from previous episodes, mostly the 31 Days of Dread. Re-exploring some of those films, because through all of this, through the crash of Collider and these other elements, there is such a lack of long-form conversation when it comes to film discussion, and this is what we're all about here on AKAPAD's Audio Audacity. We do film discussion, so let's parlay that. Let's lead that into some of my comic book work, because here's the other thing. This year, I need to figure out how to roll in more of who I am, philosophy, methodology, the marrow, the blood that pumps through these veins, to incorporate more of that in AKAPAD's Audio Audacity podcast. So, we may get to do some longer episodes, more of a stretch. We may do focused episodes on thoughts and ideas. This will be experimental. but it's always difficult for me to roll in that material while I'm on a run because I don't want to break up the run. I felt like I did that one of the years for 31 Days of Dread, and it just doesn't seem right. I don't like it. So, with that being said, we have Uzi Susie available right now on Etsy. Could be doing a little bit better, but so far doing well. Trial by Fire doing well on Indiegogo. Upcoming, we're going to have a pin series that's really only going to be available on Kickstarter and my website. The prototypes of those pins will be going out to early adopters of everything that I do. The Sex and Coffee mug that I kind of, regularly promote on my IG will also be available on akapad.com. As of right now, I'm not moving towards any digital download or anything that's digitally available that is pay yet. That is like Redbubble, Amazon, digital fulfillment, all of it. That is on Peter A. DeLuca's short list to tackle right away. Something like a T Public. More of my ideas, more of my designs, more of my thoughts to get put out there and available outside of the podcast and comic books. Articles. I worked on one today before sitting down with all of you. Articles will be available on akapad.com and through my LinkedIn blog. Original LinkedIn videos that deal with philosophy, methodology, more, I would say, lack of a better term, business related thoughts will be on LinkedIn. That is a top priority. Top priority 3 when it comes to some of the social media will be Snapchat, getting Snapchat chat back going, discovering a thread for that. I kind of still like the like one theme a day type stuff. So we're doing that. We're doing TikTok regularly now. TikTok seems to be doing well. I'm working on trying to convert that into sales, convert that into good level promotion. It's worth the effort. It's worth the time expense on my end solely because of the traction. Things seem to do very well on TikTok. Twitter right now is really a lot of my thoughts, a lot of my ideas, a lot of my progress. But I'm also live streaming comic book reviews on Twitter. When it comes to Instagram, I am pretty much, like one of my big 2020 goals was to kind of get out of being so focused on food when it comes to YouTube and Instagram. And this is because there's just not a lot of cool stuff available because of COVID. This will be a video. Also, this will be also addressed in episode 200 of my YouTube channel, where I'll be able to explain a little bit better. So this is driving everything to become drawing, illustration, comic books, and business in all my platforms. Now, we will also be rolling in life stuff and fun and life lessons and silly things, but mostly the focus will be that. Facebook. Facebook is right now it's just used for posts, a little bit of an aggregation. On my other short list is to roll in StreamYard and OBS software to do different styles of streams and videos to be able to stream on multiple platforms at one time. StreamYard is essential for this. So doing things like Monday Night Draw, so on and so forth, where, like I may show off some of my sketchbook challenges. We will be doing this very shortly, if not this coming week. Fitness, I got to talk about fitness, right? It's the year of the core. So last year was like year of the booty, and I will say, yes, my butt did grow a year ago. It did. I have a nice butt for a guy. I'm so proud of that. But we are focused on core now, focus on sit-ups. I hate to say it, right? I gotta say it. I have not done enough sit-ups in my lifetime. Core movements, big movements, all through my backyard gym, the Bloodstone. And I've played with the idea of live streaming things from the Bloodstone gym, workout wise, on Facebook or Instagram. So, again, like these, like we're transitioning out of food. We're more focused on products and original ideas, my methodology to create these things, and how I work with potential collaborators and stuff like that. My one big hanging chad is to get my eBay rolling, which I have to dedicate time to kind of get that account back in, like almost like eBay standing, I'll say, because the more you list, the more you sell on eBay, the higher up in the rankings they put you. And then if you have a gap, you're just screwed because you're almost like you're starting all over again. So with all of that, again, big focus being AKAPAD.com. On there and through maybe Comic Xology and LinkedIn. Like I want to do a run of like downloadable PDF, like articles, collections of articles, and some of my like older comic book work that was either commissioned or never commissioned or completed and never published. To complete all of that and to roll that into Comic Xology, almost like I'll put it all up there as like a free download or 25-cent download or something like that. Almost like a AKAPAD archive gallery type presentation, digital sketchbooks, those things. I want to be documenting some of these skill sets also, outside skill sets like life skill sets, skiing, Rubik's Cube, fun things, throwing a boomerang. I want to document this stuff within 2021 to roll it into all my social media. So, social media is becoming a little bit more fragmented for me when it comes to content, and it's also becoming more of an aggregation, okay? Newsletter, that's on my list, but I'm far away from getting the newsletter in order, developing a pipeline to do that quickly. I think if I could write the newsletter as the week marches on, I can make that possible, because I want the newsletter to just be like a guide to what I did that week throughout social media and what to expect. Not saying things can't be spontaneous, because we do want them to be spontaneous. But look, everyone, that's your 2021 outlook. Happy New Year. Everyone, again, thanks for supporting me. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for rocking and rolling. I appreciate all of it. And yeah, thanks a million. I love you, and rock and roll.